today's video is all about how to readjust your crochet cap in order to fit your head. Typically these crochet caps are super stretchy and has more fabric than is needed. If you keep it on there, it can weigh down the wig and make it stretch out more than you'd like it to. So to avoid that, it's best to remove some of that excess fabric. And I'm gonna show you how that's done. So if you wanna watch that, stay tuned. Get your loving one day. Just say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day. Hi guys, Kamra here with Elonblu Talks, where I help you to create stunning wigs through easy to follow steps, explore simple protective hairstyle options, and share tips on growing healthy, beautiful hair naturally. If you haven't already, go ahead and press that subscribe button right down below to catch more videos just like this. All links in this video is going to be in the description box below. So today's video is going to be all about readjusting and resizing these crochet caps. Typically, the crochet caps are super stretchy, especially the ones that I get, because that was the point of me making crochet wigs in the first place. I wanted all my hair to fit underneath the cap without having to, constrain it too much or strain just go crazy trying to fit it all in there. I typically have a lot of hair and I don't straighten my hair that often, so it's bushy and it's a lot underneath, so I need something that stretches pretty good, but I don't want it to stretch too much, so this is a little bit more than I typically need, so I'm just gonna adjust it today and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. I've gotten that question before, so let's do it. I decided to wear something different today. Do you guys like my Afro hair? Isn't it cool? I love the color. Anyways, it's not about this. It's not about this hair today. Today is all about resizing caps. Okay, so in the video, I'm gonna show you how I use a sewing machine in order to sew the cap back. Typically, the caps have an opening. Some of them don't actually. Some of them, it will say it on the package whether you have a cap that has an opening like this or whether it's closed at the top. It doesn't matter really which one you get, so don't worry too much about that. It's gonna end up being sewn together a little bit lower down and then cut off anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So don't worry too much about that. The main thing that you want to focus on is the kind of cap that you get. I like caps with a little bit more structure around the band. There are some caps that are a little bit more thin or flimsy around the band, which tends to kind of curl under, so I don't particularly like those kind of caps. Also, something to be conscious of are these caps have different size openings. Some of them are larger than this, some of them are smaller than this. For me, this is kind of like a medium size, so I personally like to use the medium size one. The small ones, because the caps are black, it's too close together. So one of the reasons why I love these wigs is that because it stretches open and there's enough airiness to it, you see how you're able to kind of see my finger and my skin color and my skin underneath it. If it's too close together, then you'll mostly see black. And I didn't want that for my scalp, if that makes any sense. But if it's also too far apart, then the hairs are not close enough to create the illusion that, the hairs are coming out of your scalp. If it's too far, then it's not gonna work. And if it's too close, to me, it's not gonna work. So this brand of caps are my favorite. I use DONNA, I like this one out of all of the ones that I've tried before, so I will have a link to that in the description box below. But if you'd like to purchase an already resized cap, I'm going to put a link at the bottom for you to do so. That way you don't have to worry about whether you have a sewing machine or whether you're able to do this. You can do this without a sewing machine if you don't have one, by just folding the excess fabric down and then maybe hand stitching it to the cap. But when you open it, it'll look something like that, and then you just kind of stitch that down. So on a mannequin head, well, on my mannequin head, there is some seam lines that indicates the center of the mannequin head. There are some seam lines on the side, but the one we're gonna focus on today is just the center seam line. Again, I am using DONNA as my wig cap. I'm sharing the brand of cap because it's really important to get the right one. There are plenty of wig caps brands and they make them differently. I like DONNA because the quality is good to me, especially the quality of the band around the cap. It has an elastic band that really forms a nice structure for the wig, especially because I'm going to be adding baby hairs to it. A lot of the other brands have like a more flimsy band around the wig cap, so it just doesn't work for me. It typically will roll under itself or over itself. It's just not the best one for me, so I purposely look for DONNA brand because I know that the elastic band around the cap is going to be something that I prefer. Again, I have to use a more structured version so that I can add baby hairs. If it wasn't for the baby hair, maybe I wouldn't mind as much, but these flimsy thin headbands around or bands around the cap just is not working for me. So that's why I'm showing in this video the difference, because if you are going to look for one, you know, try to find one that has a good band. Again, I'm showing you that this version comes in an open cap, but as you can see, it curls under or over, it rolls, which is not that great. It does exactly the same thing, maybe not so extreme, but it does that same thing around the band, which is not okay. But DONNA, because we have an elastic band around it, it works so much better. There's no curling at all. Now, the interesting thing about the other brand of crochet cap is that it is smaller, so there is less fabric, which I do like. So I'm actually going to be making my DONNA cap the size of the other cap. So that is one benefit of the other brand of cap, is that it doesn't have as much fabric. So DONNA cap has way too much fabric that I'm not going to be using. So I'm gonna make my cap, my DONNA cap, the size of the other cap to make it work the best. So that is what this video is all about. So as you can see, this particular cap is closed. So it doesn't matter whether you get an open cap or a closed cap. The process is still gonna be the same. Another thing that I am mindful of when I am adjusting and altering the cap is where the back is gonna be. So I like to make sure that wherever the band connects and is stitched together, that's the back, because I don't want that to be in the front and it creates a bulkiness or a bulge or whatever. I like to keep all the seams in the back so that the front is nice and flat and laid. So knowing where that seam is, I know where I'm going to make the back. So now that we know where the back is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and measure out where I'm going to sew the seam at the top of the cap. The seam is going to be sewn 2 inches down from the top. And using my sewing machine, I am going to measure again, 2 inches down, and sew right there. Now I'm just doing a basic stitch for this closure, so just a simple stitch will do. I'll do a front stitch, back stitch, stitch all the way down, and then front stitch, back stitch again. Now I do have a measuring mark on my sewing machine, so that helps me to know exactly where that 2-inch line or 2-inch marking is. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that string off. I have a blade in the back of my sewing machine to help with that. And as you can see, it is stitched closed. It's kind of hard to see, but you get the point. It's stitched closed. So again, 2 inches down from the top of the cap. I'm gonna go ahead and place the cap now back onto my mannequin head again, because I know where that seam is on the back of the elastic band around the cap. I know where the back of my cap is, so that's my front, and the back is where the band meets each other. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cap onto my mannequin head with the back where it should be and the front where it should be. And there we are. So I like to adjust the seam line of the top of the cap to match the seam line of the mannequin head, because this is going to help me to this is going to help me later, and I'll show you guys why. So again, I'm just aligning the seam line of the cap with the seam line of the mannequin head, and then we're just going to cut. Don't cut too close. If you can help it, you want to leave just a little bit of fabric at the top. If you cut too close, and then because the fabric is stretchy, it might unravel and the stitch might not hold as well. So be careful not to cut too close. So this is just another angle so that you can get a better view of how I cut the top portion off. So this is why it doesn't matter really whether the cap that you have is open at the top or closed, because it's going to be cut off either way. And that is how I do it. So now my cap is an appropriate size for my head. And just so you know, that mannequin head is a 23-inch mannequin head. So as you can see, the cap now is the size, the cap that I like, the DONNA cap, is now the size of the cap that I don't like, as far as that band that's attached to it. So now the size of the cap, it works for my head without all that extra fabric. All right, so we're gonna put that cap right back on that mannequin head, and you're ready to go. Now for me, I'm not gonna just stop there, because I also want to put a tag in the back of my cap. This is gonna help me to indicate where that back is. I've already attached a tag on the back of this one so that I know and everyone else knows where that back is. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you that process, so that if you are thinking about putting a tag on yours, or even just some kind of indication as to where the back is, it is helpful to do that. So let's just go ahead and do that now. So I am going to be using a chalk so that I can make a mark of where that center back is going to be. And what I do is just follow the diagonal or the diamond shape down the center of my crochet cap. Now I know where the center is because of where I sew the stitching. Right at the top of that stitch area is the very center of the cap, and I just follow those diamonds straight down until I get to the band. Depending on how you have the cap placed on the mannequin head, those diamonds will start to look like it's shifting a little bit to the sides, but just follow it all the way down and then you can adjust it later. At least you'll know where the back of the center back is for the cap. So usually once I make that marking, then I'll just adjust if I need to. So I'm flipping it over because I'm just realizing that it's probably better to have that marking on the inside where the tag is going to be. That way it's just a much better visual of exactly where I'm going to be putting the center of the tag. So it is better to flip that under so that, or flip it out so that you see the inside of the cap and you'll know exactly where to put that tag. Now again, your indication of where the back is doesn't even have to be a tag. You can use fabric, a piece of fabric or cloth. You can even use a marker, a Sharpie, whatever. You can use thread and just kind of do a little quick stitch of a different color thread, maybe a white or a red, so that you know where that back is. If you're just making it for yourself, it doesn't really matter so much, as long as there's some kind of marking in the back so that you're more aware, or don't do it at all. That's up to you. Now that I have the mark on the back of my cap, I'm gonna go ahead and sew my Elonblu tag right there. Super easy process. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it at the end. One way to know how to place a tag that has letters on it that may look upside down if you don't put it on right is to place the tag with the words right side up where the ridges of the cap is. So if the ridges are up, make sure that the tag is up as well. So the tag is going to follow the ridges of the cap. I hope that makes sense. Anywho, we're gonna go ahead and sew stitches on both sides of the tag, and that will finish the cap. Super easy process. Just takes a little bit of time, but so worth it. So again, just making sure that the words are up with the ridges of the cap. That is one very easy way to indicate which side or which way is up. So of course we do a back stitch, forward stitch, back stitch, forward stitch, just to make sure that it has a nice hold. See how the ridges are up and the words are up? That's kind of where you want to, that's how you want to take that. So there's my tag. It's gonna go inside of the cap, just like so. And when worn, it looks like that. Goes on just like that. So now we know where the back is, we know where the front is, we know where the center top is. It is closed, it has been resized, it is ready to go. So again, I'm just showing the size difference. So the first one, this one is the original, and then the other one is the resize. I mean, a huge difference, huge difference. So I think it's really, really, if you are making your own crochet wig, I think it's really important for you to go ahead and resize if you can, because it definitely makes a huge difference. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please do share it with your friends and family. Subscribe if you haven't already, and like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. It definitely helps my channel to get all of that interaction. Comment below if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want me to do any other kind of videos, all that jazz. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and until next time. Super stretchy. Again, this is why I like crochet wigs. Super stretchy, you know? And it's not just because this is a afro, like literally the cap is stretchy with it. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.